Hey everybody. So in the last video, I added the Angular material sliders to the red color, and then after that, after I got off the video, I started working on getting the blue light color or the green, red RGB, yeah, the green light color animated, and that worked. That was I'm I'm really trying to get a good grasp of like being able to do like a good estimate of okay, what do I need to do to get this done? Because it's kind of like you get in there and you just do work, and it's like you figure it out as you go, and that's like a very common way to do things. But you know, it is really nice, especially like if you're in a professional environment, to be able to give a good estimate of how long a feature is going to take to build out. And so that's kind of something I'm trying to work on. And to do that, I'm sort of narrowing down the work that I'm doing and trying to just guess ahead of time. So I know ahead of time that, well, okay, so let me just kind of show you what I have here. So basically, I have, I believe it's three meshes. I have one mesh that just sort of represents the ground. It'd probably be better if I made that wider. So I'm going to take this ground, which, let's see, the floor, and I'm just going to make it, instead of a width of 100, I make it a width of 1,000. Yeah, so I don't know how much of a difference that made. But anyways, I have three meshes. I have this ball that's sort of moving around. I have a static wall in the ground. And then I have the camera, and it's a perspective camera, and it is doing a couple things. One is it's lifting up, and two is it's panning across. So that's why you're seeing that. And then you have your ball, which is starting at -4 and going to 4. And then we have the scenic background, which is the scene, which is starting off at black and turning to about half of red. So, like if I pause this thing so that's 6 seconds, and then that's 0 seconds. So, um, the the scene is black there, and then it just starts to get color, starts to get color, and then it gets to here, and then you scroll like that. And there's a light that's sitting right between the camera and the wall, and then another light that's kind of over here. Um, and that's what kind of makes up this animation. I think the background color is not noticeable. Like you don't notice it, but I think it adds value. Um, I don't think that like for some, I think it's kind of weird. The scene change itself is just like, I think my brain just sort of accepts it and ignores it. But I do think it makes the animation a lot neater. Um, but anyway, so I was kind of looking at trying to, like I said, I'm trying to really get better at sort of doing a good guesstimate on how long something's going to take. And I think before you can make a good estimate of how long something's going to take, you need to get a good guesstimate of all the things that need to be done. So what I did was I went in. I knew I changed the TypeScripts. So let me go in this view. So that step one, I went into the scene interface and I changed the TypeScript in two ways. One, I changed it from a BG blue color to green color. I had decided that it was a good idea to get rid of the BG because in the scene, I don't think the BG part's adding any value. And I was hoping that I would be able to then the TypeScript and the being able to go between the different adding mesh colors and light colors would be easier. I don't know. I'm starting to think it probably won't be. But since I already did it for red color, I went ahead and did it for green color. And then I also converted it from a number to an animation property descriptor, which like then breaks about 20 lines of code. And that's very, very simple. Changing this name broke a few lines of code, maybe 8, and then this broke a few lines of code. And then I was like, okay, and while I'm doing the animation changes, anything obvious that I need to change that I can see, I'll do that too. And hopefully that's everything. And it wasn't. So basically it did make all the changes that I needed to make in the component, the scene component, and it did catch all the changes that I needed to do in animation. But what it didn't do is it didn't catch in the actual animation engine, the code that manages all the animations. It caught those because I just happened to be there in a function that did that. But it did not catch 5 minutes and 21 seconds. It did not catch um, any of the changes that are needed for green to show up in this drop down. So that piece isn't caught in any way. You just don't even get anywhere near it. So anyways, let me go over what I did make and then what I think I need to do left. So in ThreeJS, this was an instant breakage in two ways. The green color needed to be changed, and what it has assigned to it, initialized, uh, needs to be changed. And then same here. It was just BG green color. Now it's green color, and then I needed to add start value. So those are two super simple. Here's one that did not break, but I happened to be in here to fix this guy here. And I was like, oh, okay, in the update scene for time, I need to add a green speed and then calculate what the speed of the green is and then set it accordingly based on the green speed. So that was just like a tangential fix. I ran into this problem and then said, okay, so while I'm here, I'll go ahead and do this. We already went over the scene interface changes. And then in the animation, I think all this is, yesterday when I was demonstrating the show tick marks and the sort of little guy the thing that kind of floats over the top here, the thumb, whatever it's called, the tick marks, I left it. I inadvertently left it, so I needed to remove it. And then over here was just the obvious changing of the name and changing of the type changes, so two of them. So I believe all that's left at this point is to basically go inside of animation properties. So up in everything under this folder, changes need to be made. I don't know what this, okay, so I did make one change in here. So I guess I probably should have at this point said, oh, if I'm changing this, I need to make changes. But so I think there's two things, two major things that I need to change, and then those will sort of shine the light on the other pieces. One will be this. So I need to add the blue color in here, and then I believe then there's like some special code that handles red color in here, or that might be a little bit lower in the next component down. Okay, so yeah, so this is the animation property, so that's all the way at the bottom, and then over here, let's see, at the top here, I need to add this guy. So blue, item value, blue color, and then sub property red, and then I believe there's like a, let me see if that comes up, red color, no, red, let's try this, yeah, red, yeah, this is gonna, oh no, 2 and 3. So I believe there's some code in here. Well, no, see, this will also be handled. It's just going to say, hey, if it's a scene, update scene. So I think all that might need to do is I need to add the blue here, red, or the green in this one. I need to add the green in this one, the green color in scene, and then I think I think the first one will get it to show up in the drop down. The second one will get it to handle. And then I think in the template, I probably need to, oh, no, that's already going to work too. So basically at this point, when I need to do, because I'm going to do blue next, I'll be able to, I think, effectively say, okay, this is a 2-session job. The first session, I'll get the TypeScripts all updated, and I'll get the animation working, and I'll get the scene manager working. And then in the second session, I'll get the animation animation manager all updated. And yeah, that'll be 2 sessions. Super easy for me to then, to make guesstimates on time. And that's kind of where I wanted to go next. Once that blue is done, then I'm going to circle back around to meshes. Um, Basically, what I'm trying to do is just no. Yeah, no, yeah. So I think I'll circle back around to meshes, and I'm going to add a whole new mesh type just because I really want it. And that right now all I have is sphere and cube, and I want to add like letters. And I don't know exactly how that works, but I would like to be able to add a letters and be able to basically have this be like a letter or a series of letters. And I think I just really want that. And then, go through the whole process of getting that animated. And then probably after that, I would want to stay in meshes, and I would like to animate the rotation. So like if I take this ball and I turn it back into a cube, um, see how that rotation is just hard coded. And that was actually that is a line that got in there in the very, very first video, the line that just automatically rotates animated things. And I would like to be able to set the angle that you're at for non-animated, and then animate that. And then when that is done, I would like to go into lights and add another kind of light. And then I think yeah. And I would also like to be able to animate this intensity. And then after that, I don't think there's anything else to do in the camera. So maybe it might make sense to animate the near and the far. So like, but I don't want to at this point. I think everything that I want animated in there is in there. In scene, I don't think there's anything else I want to animate. There is a thing called fog. I don't really know exactly how it works, so I probably don't know enough to decide whether I want that animated. But once all of that is done, I think the next step will be to go into this service, the scene manager component service, and pull these out. Pull out like anything. Separate concerns. So pull anything that is about meshes into its own service, and then pull that in here. Pull anything that's about animation into its own service and pull it in here. Just all that, and hopefully break this down. I'm in the wrong one. In the scene service, this guy, 3JS service. And hopefully when that's all said and done, the 3JS service will be like, yeah, so we haven't hit red alert yet. It's when we get to past 1,000 that I'll start getting super concerned. But yeah, once hopefully this whole thing will be like less than 200 lines of code. And then, each one of them will be less. And then I know whenever I want to work on something specific to an animation, I just go in that service and update that. And I don't really have to understand the rest of what else is going on, or when I want to make a change, I'm not scrolling for 45 seconds looking for the right area. Make it small enough to where it's easily digestible. And then after that is the big boss, the thing that I think is going to be a huge difference maker for me, and that will be import and export. Once I can import and export, then anytime I make a cool animation, I'll be able to just export it, and then the next video I can start with that cool animation and build off of that. So that's everything, guys. Happy coding. Bye.